I had the advantage of being able to play with, what we currently call Gen AI, the chat GPTs of the world. Back in 2020, when I had like early access to a very early version of what eventually became Chat GPT. And I was totally blown away by this. As a technologist, I had no idea that this type of technology was going to appear in my lifetime. Because,
Mm,
right up to then, machines had been pretty good about, doing a whole bunch of like machine-oriented things. But this is the first time I actually used a piece of technology that felt human, for want of a better word. As in, it did a lot of the messy things that our, organic brains do, and it did it quite well for a very early version of this, at least at a level that I'd never seen before, never imagined would be possible today. And obviously, things have evolved dramatically since then, both in terms of the sort of general awareness of what's possible and the quality of the models and the kinds of tasks that they can actually do. I've been using the latest model from OpenAI, the 5.2 Max model, and it's incredibly capable. It can do some really, really difficult things that I would not have imagined machines could do, certainly in my lifetime. But it obviously, me and, I guess half the working world is thinking really long and hard about, what this does for organizations, the kind of work that we do, what it means to be human in the workplace, and those sorts of things. And I think we're taking that quite seriously because it's clear that everyone who's doing knowledge work and everyone in my business is doing knowledge work, and I think everyone in many businesses are basically doing knowledge work. Uh, if they are going to be doing what they're doing today in exactly the same way in 5 years' time, maybe even 3 years' time, I will be absolutely shocked. So clearly, there's a big change coming, and then the question is, what shape does that change take? Um, how does that impact the kind of work we do, the way our organizations are set up, the way our people are measured? And I think of it in a fairly sort of optimistic way because I think these machines allow us a toolkit that allows everyone in the organization, whether the individual contributors, people managers, strategic leaders, to use this very powerful knowledge tool to augment what they do in a way that was just impossible to imagine a couple of years ago. And I think it's the onus is on us as organizations and people who work in these organizations to figure out what these tools can do to us today, because that in itself is a strategic advantage. I think everyone's sort of running around trying to figure out, hey, what do these things do? What are the privacy implications, et cetera, et cetera? Is it going to take my job? Is it going to make me redundant? Is it completely useless? Is it only good for AI slop? And that whole sort of, spectrum in between. I think I sit in the world of this is a knowledge tool. That means it's a different kind of tool to ones we've had before. And every time as a species we get new tools, we try and figure out how to make them work. And I think we're definitely at that stage over right now. And so I'm encouraging everyone in my organization, and I encourage anyone who's listening to this to really think very long and deep about whether the work that they're doing is truly the best use of their time given the tools that we have today. And that's a very simple statement, but it has a lot of implications. And quite often I even catch myself, doing something mechanical or not very intellectually interesting, difficult, or stimulating, and thinking in 2025, almost 2026, should I be doing this? And it's actually a very simple question. I said, no, actually, there probably is a better way. And if I don't know how yet, that's a great opportunity for me to learn. So take a little bit longer, figure out what tools are available, what integrations are available. How would I do this in a more automated, AI assisted way? And if it works, great, I've learned something. And we've been doing that systematically through the organization, not just in product development, which is, I guess, the most obvious place where AI and AI assisted coding is being used, but also in, things like marketing and customer success. How do we actually use these very capable models, give them the right data to provide, you know, really, really specific and useful insight in an industrialized way? And that then frees up people to do more interesting work. And I'm excited to see where that takes us because I'm pretty sure this is what the future of knowledge work looks like, at least in the short term.